I want to thank everyone for staying. I know it's been a really long concert. It's a really weird world that we live in right now. Do you agree? Yeah. Oh my goodness. And I think with all of these issues that keep going on, we kind of forget about the people it affects and the stories that it creates. So my piece is kind of following the story of a young couple. We start out with a guy that can't make enough money to support a family. He really wants to have a family. So he has to work 3 different jobs just to afford rent and paying for his wife and children. And because of all that, they're not able to buy a house until they're about 39 years old. Because right now, the average age of a first-time home buyer in the United States is 38 years old. Once they finally get this house, they want to have their family, right? But everyone in here probably knows that women's fertility declines after the age of 35. So since they're 39 years old, they have to resort to IVF in order to conceive a child, but unfortunately, the wife miscarries at 20 weeks. That means she needs to get a procedure, also known as a D&C, to clear out her fetus. But because she lives in the United States, that's seen as an abortion. So then she's sentenced to death, because actually in red states, they're thinking about introducing some jurisdiction that makes abortion punishable by death. So I know it's a really dark story, but I called my piece "The Price of Life" because we find that things are getting more expensive, and the cost of making the decisions that we want to have a nice life might end up costing you yours. My piece is gonna feature my longtime collaborator, Joe Colwell, on vocals. It's also gonna feature Izzy on the trombone, Aiden on the bass, and Joshua Polian on rapping. So I hope you enjoy this.
I like to go in a fancy city, but she said I didn't make enough money. So I worked 3 different jobs, and I asked her again, she agreed. And she wants to have a family, but we can't afford a house. We tried so hard to make it, couldn't buy till 39. We needed was a home. We tried our best to make
I'd like to tell you a story about what happened to this married couple. Their names were Bella and Caleb, and they tried their best to follow the ordained path in society, God, and family, but they lived in an unjust society. So here's what happened. After working for years on a white picket fence dream, one more time. After working for years on a white picket fence dream, they buy their own house trying to start a family. Bella's 39, so it's hard to conceive. They resort to IVF as treatment therapy. Eventually it works, and Bella gets pregnant, but the joy would only last for a short-lived second. 20 weeks later, and Bella falls ill. Doctors tried their best, but she miscarried still. They leave the hospital heartbroken and stressed, but police come in and place them under arrest. You killed that baby, they screamed and they cried. No idea what really happened inside. You got it all wrong, Caleb quickly replies. We did our best, but the baby couldn't survive. We had to make the choice to keep Bella alive. Would you really want my wife to die? They ignored that question, they just wanted a confession. You did all wrong and we make no concession. Murder is a sin and your wife must pay. We'll let a court judge decide her fate. So the husband and wife, in their moment of strife, face the judge with a cold stare. But the judge passed his sentence without much repentance, said sin is wrong and God don't care. Your execution is on the morrow. I see in your face that you have much sorrow, but prayer's the only thing to save you now. So say your last words before we put you down. The wife shed a tear, she was trembling with fear. This was not how it was supposed to be, but the price of life had become too high for the stakes of a family. I said, what you really know about abortion? What you really know about the government? What you really know about the price of life? The price of life.